family franchise. And a very warm welcome to all of you who are here joining us today, and a special welcome to the people who are joining us on demand. Really happy to have you all here. As our lovely introduction guys already said, today's session is called Franchise Your Freedom. What that really means is franchising isn't a fallback choice, or second choice. It's a framework for growth. It's about combining independence with infrastructure, so you can build something that's yours, but with the support to scale faster and smarter than you could do on your own. But it's not just about investing. It's also a model for those of you that really want to have a successful business already and want to expand your brand nationally, internationally, using motivated and passionate individuals. We've got an incredible panel lined up for you today, representing all walks of life within the franchising community. So we've got franchisees, franchisors, and also specialists. We'll call you a specialist in the franchising community, an expert, she likes to be known as. And they're going to share their stories of how they've scaled, how they've shifted, and obviously things that they've done within the franchising community. So let's meet them so I can shut up. So first up, we've got Katie Bullen from Active Marketing, who went from a franchisee at Active Marketing before becoming a franchisor. So you can clap her if you want to. Sarah Charles, founder of FunFest Franchising and Canopy Nurseries. So she's leading multiple networks into growth at the moment. So she needs a really big round of applause. Hubs, who got up at 3 a.m. this morning to fly back from Sicily. Yeah, just to be here for us today. So Hubs is a franchisee from McDonald's, and he's a high-performance operator who knows what scaling at serious levels really takes. Pip Wilkins, CEO with the British Franchise Association, champion of the industry, and the voice of franchising in the UK. You might have seen him on The Apprentice a few times. Oh yeah, round of applause for Pip, sorry. And finally, last but not least, Naseem Khan. He's an Anytime Fitness franchisee, and he's here to give us on-the-ground perspective of building a franchise business day to day. So quite the lineup, right? So first of all, let's make a start and understand what made you guys choose franchising in the first place. So Katie, I'm going to come to you first because you're next to me. What got you into franchising, and what was the moment that you decided to say yes?
So, it works. So for me, I had a career within corporate marketing. I traveled the world. I managed huge budgets, and I had that structure and a great career. The time came in my personal life where I wanted to go down the self-employed route, and marketing was all I knew and what I was good at. And so I set up freelance. Now, being on my own after you've been in a huge corporate organization is tough. And, that was the point where I started looking for other options. I think I looked at, do I set up a nursery, or, do I set up a shop? Like, what I was trying to find that thing, because marketing on its own felt not enough with just me. So I then came across Active Marketing, which is a franchise that allows people to run their own marketing businesses with the backup of a team. And I invested in the franchise, and I ran the South Wales territory for 6 years. Before I got to the next point, but I know we'll come to that.
Yes. So Sarah, it's like you all sat in order for me. It's brilliant. Sarah, what drew you to launch FunFest and now Canopy? And what was the turning point that made you decide to franchise them both?
Yeah, thanks. So I built my business because I had a problem, which is I've got a lot of problems, but one specific problem that I needed a solution for, and that was childcare. So I was a busy working mum. I'd started a nursery business. My children were too old for nursery. There was nothing in the holidays. I didn't know what to do with them in the holidays. So I was trying to juggle. So I started a children's holiday club. It quickly sold out, became very, very busy, and I realised that actually Solihull can't be the only place in the UK that has the same problem with working parents needed to juggle. So I knew that it was scalable, I knew it was transferable, I knew everyone, a lot of working parents had similar issues and problems. but I couldn't foresee a way to do it myself and maintain the quality. So franchising, I'm a really big advocate of franchising because it allows you to grow your brand and grow your business, but in a sustainable way. So it's not just about volume, it's about, you know, people paying you money to replicate your brand and have the support that you offer. That's fantastic because they buy into your brand, they buy into a franchise agreement, so they're automatically thinking, okay, it's a 5-year or it's a 10-year term, so they're not just going to open and then close again. So it's a real scalable and sustainable business model, and it worked perfectly for FunFest and more recently for Canopy Nurseries.
Thanks, Sarah. You made a really interesting point there about brands and about people buying into the brand. And I suppose hubs, people assume that McDonald's, you know, is a safe bet, I suppose, because it's such a well-established brand. What's the real story behind your decision into becoming a franchisee? And I suppose, what myth would you like to bust about McDonald's?
So I guess while it's true, McDonald's is, I guess, the largest franchise model out there and probably the most successful one. It doesn't come without its challenges, I can assure you that. We are pervious to economic forces just like any other business. And I think the last few years are a good example of this. The difference, I guess, being a franchisee with McDonald's is that I have the backing of quite a large network of this global powerhouse behind me. So when you do see, let's say, challenges along the way or bumps along the road, you have this support network and framework behind yourself. And I think just looking at the last 2 years, it's quite a cute example of that, from the current geopolitical landscape we're in all the way through to the cost of living crisis. We've had to really pull together as a system to, and by the system, I guess I mean, in McDonald's, we coined this as 3 legs to the system. So you have the corporate side of the business, the supply chain, and the franchisees. So we've had to pull together in the last few years more acutely than ever to address some of those changes and change our business strategy along the way.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Hubs. Naseem, over to you, over the corner there. You weren't ready for that, were you? What made you decide Anytime Fitness was the right fit for you?
I ran my own business for a number of years. So going around the festival is really interesting when you run your own business and you have to make all these decisions all the time. And I exited my business just before COVID. And it just made sense to me to take a little bit of time off, which I did. And it occurred to me at that time that the awareness of health, well-being, mental, physical, has never been higher than post-COVID. And I was looking to get into a business, and I knew nothing about running a gym. But I liked the concept, I liked the idea. So it was just the right concept at the right time for me. And yeah, we've done pretty well in the last couple of years that we've run one, and we're on to number 2, number 3 now.
She's brilliant going. Well done, Naseem. Well done. Pip, coming to you now, my darling, because you've been very quiet over there, which I know you don't like. From the BFA perspective, why do you think franchising attracts such a diverse group of people? Because I'm just going to tell everybody in the audience. Naseem, remind me you came from a...
So I came from an IT type of background
before you got into gym.
Right.
And Hubs...
Mine was IT as well. So I'd spent 20 or so years in the IT sector. Change for me, really, I wanted to kind of get out of that corporate employed world, if you like, and move towards to doing something for myself. I looked at various businesses at the time, including IT. The challenge there was around where I was with my life at the time in terms of my family commitments and other responsibilities. And when I looked more into McDonald's, the more I really liked about this brand. It's a brand that I loved, and I could also see myself scaling this brand in time as well. So for me, it was a really good fit at the time, and I bought my first restaurant in December 2018, and really I've never looked back since.
Perfect, brilliant. So really diverse group of individuals there, Pip. Why do you think franchising attracts them?
Okay, so franchising is a business model that basically offers anyone the opportunity to get into it. There are some 1,009 franchise systems around the UK market that operate in systems from gyms to children's activities to marketing to fast food. So because it's so diverse, it attracts diverse people. The whole point of franchising is that you don't do what you've always done and what you've been good at. You do something that you're really passionate about and that you want to do day to day. You don't need to have a background or experience in business or in the sector that you're going into, because franchising is about the franchisor teaching you how to do it. Everything from the finances to the marketing to the sales to the operational day to day, the franchisor is there to look after you and support you, so you can choose something that you want to get up every day and go, I love my job and I want to do that.
Thanks, Pip. So let's, I suppose, have a look now what it looks like inside franchising. So inside a franchise, sorry, Naseem, how much freedom do you have day to day? Is it all like regulated rules, or do you have space to make your own decisions and make it your own?
See, I think Pip's come up with a really good point, that you have the ability to be hands-on if you want to be, or you use the system, use the playbooks, and you can be hands-off as well. So you have that freedom in within the business, within the franchise model. I think for me, the main thing is that you've got time autonomy. You make your own time sort of schedule according to what your life dictates at that given moment. You have your own, it's very much, for me, it's very much, you are still involved in running a business, even though it's a franchise. So how successful you are or otherwise, it's kind of dependent upon the amount of work you put in. So for me, freedom within the franchise model, especially within the Anytime franchise model, is that they give you the basis, the tools, and they give you the playbook. But we're in a local community, we're servicing our own sort of residents, and so you have the freedom to develop that business in your image, or the gym's image as you see it. And so we, for instance, are in an area which is a lot of high net worth individuals live there. So we are very much a service-based gym. But we also have Anytime Fitnesses in the heart of London in sort of more deprived areas. And they will be service-based, but they might be product-based as well. So the freedom of being in a franchise model, I think, is that you can set your own agenda. And certainly that's how it's worked for us within Anytime Fitness.
Perfect, Naseem, thank you. So Hubs, you scaled multiple sites. So if you could give us a brief synopsis of the biggest lesson you've learned while managing that growth.
If I were to sum that up in one word, I would say people. Okay. I would say never be too afraid to invest in good talent if you see that, even if it's at the earlier stages of your business. Fast forward to today, I have 5 restaurants. I'll soon be taking on a 6th. I can't be at all 5 or 6 at the same time. So building yourself a set of management team, staff people, like-minded people, if you like, that will be on the journey with you together, I think is the most powerful thing that I've learned, and most effective as well.
Thank you. Sarah, you're being quiet there. When you were building your franchise to start with, what was the biggest lesson you learned that made the biggest difference?
There's lessons every single day, I have to be completely honest. You never sit there and think, all right, I've got it sorted now, I've got it sussed. But probably the biggest lesson is not being afraid to say no. Because it's very flattering when someone wants to buy into your brand, and it's very tempting to say yes to everybody, but there has to be real brand alignment. People are in this for the long term, and they have to resonate with your brand, and you have to get on. And also, people have to like children if they're going to work with children. And some people are kind of in it just for the numbers and just for the profits, a highly profitable industry, but you have to like children. The biggest lesson is not being afraid to say no, and just trusting your gut.
Thanks, Sarah. So Katie, sorry, Do you think being a franchisee first gave you an advantage when it came to becoming a franchisor?
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, because you are living a franchise, you're living the support, you're living everything that the clients think of your brand and your business and the way you deal with them and you operate. So, you know, the point where I came to buy the business out in 2021 was a time where I had been in those shoes. I spotted an opportunity. I knew that Active could go to the next level. You know, it was a right place, right time thing. The franchisor at the time wanted to exit. And, you know, I was there with the vision for where it could go. And, you know, it's been a lot of hard work, but the fact that I'm leading from a place of knowing actually what's needed rather than, you know, maybe what someone without the experience could think is needed, has been so crucial to how we've changed, you know, a huge amount within the business and grown it. So, you know, for me, it was always about the franchise molding around the individual and elevating them to a place that they couldn't go on their own. And, you know, that is exactly what we've done with the support and, you know, everything that we've built so that, you know, they really are stronger with us and focused on the things they're really good at than they could do, you know, than without us. So, yeah, so that experience was crucial.
Great answer. Thank you. Pip, so we've heard from well, obviously you and I and most people here will on this panel, we speak to people every day or different franchise brands every day that are, you know, 2 or 3 franchises to over 700. What do you think separates the ones that stay small to the ones that do scale and scale quickly?
Oh, that's a really good question. But every franchise gives the same, you put the nail in the coffin playbook. So you get your support systems when you buy into a franchise. The thing that makes some franchisees more successful than others is mindset. You know, I want to do this, I want to drive my business forward, and I want to build an empire. But it's about the ones that lean into the franchisor and the support systems. You know, you have an entire network of people when you buy a franchise that you can speak to. It's not just the franchisor that can support you. There are people that have walked in the shoes before you that can say, look, this really works from a marketing perspective in our area. So it's about the people that want to innovate, that want to work with the franchisor, and that have the mindset to grow a big business will.
Brilliant, great answer. A quick fire answer to all of you. 1-word answers only though, please. Best thing franchising has ever given you. 1 word. I didn't prepare him for this one, by the way, so it's like putting him all on the spot.
Love. Okay. For franchising.
1-word answer, Katie. 1. Sarah, 1.
Excitement.
Liberation.
Ooh, good one.
A job. No.
That was 2 words.
Family.
Gratitude.
Brilliant, thank you. So some journeys obviously don't just stop at being a franchisee like Hubs and Naseem. You know, they evolve into becoming franchisors or other things. Casey, what was scarier? Saying yes to being a franchisee or saying yes to leading your own brand?
Definitely yes to being a franchisee, because at that point I did not understand the franchise industry. I didn't understand the stats, and the research that came out via Pip's team in the BFA last year just exposes the success rate within franchising for startups over, you know, the failure rate of startups that don't start within franchising. The difference is huge. And but when I was starting as a franchisee, I didn't know all of this, and I didn't know the potential that the industry held for me. And so you're kind of shooting in the dark at that point, because I didn't have anyone to tell me this. I didn't know you then, Jodie. But I think when it came to then deciding to be a franchisor, you know, I understood the industry. I knew some amazing people in the industry. And I knew that I was the right person to take Active forward with the vision that I had. So the second choice when I was in Active and I was sitting in the garden post-lockdown with my 12-month-old baby, I said to my husband about it and he was like, oh, really? But, you know, for me, buying out Active across the UK and Ireland was an easy decision, and one there's no way I could have said no to.
Thanks, Katie. That's a good answer. So, Sarah, over to you. What moment made you think I can run not just one business, but 2 whole franchise networks?
There's not one single moment. It has evolved. It wasn't just a click, suddenly do this. But yeah, it's about backing yourself, isn't it? And having that mindset of growth. And if you really believe in your brand and you really believe in your product, and that it's a great solution for people, then why wouldn't you want to scale and grow it? And it's about having the right team, because you shift your mindset, as Pip was saying, your mindset shifts from being a doer to being a leader. And that's really quite difficult because you're not in control of every small aspect of every franchise site anymore. So having a fantastic team, 2 of which are here, that's the way to do it. Hire better people than you, and take the glory.
I love that answer. Yeah. So Pip, can any business be franchised?
I was going to say, I think 9 times out of 10, yes. Like, if you've got a successful business and you want to take it down the franchising model, it's about finding the right foundations. So franchising is all about systems and processes. If you've got the right team, a profitable business, and you want to grow it in other locations around the UK, franchising is a model that will work. You get the right advice from us, and structure the business model, get your operations manual right, and then it's about learning from the people around you. We have loads of collaboration sessions that talk about what successful franchising looks like, so we can help you structure the things that you need to do, the steps that you need to put in place to be able to take your business and scale it across the UK using really motivated individuals that are passionate about your brand, your product, your service, and your values internally too. So yeah.
I'm going to throw another question at you that I haven't prepped you for. You're going to love me now. So if the people in the audience here that are looking like, if they're considering maybe franchising their business, what's the best place for them to start?
With us, we have lots of free advice. So we have courses that you can do that you log on, watch some videos, and it will help you establish whether your business is franchisable. Do you have the right operating systems, the right processes in place in order to take it forward? And then we will connect you with the people that will help you put the structure in place. It's about finding a decent franchise consultant that's properly accredited that can say, these are the steps that you need to take. But there is a lot that you can do on your own. If you've already got processes, it's about starting to document them out. If I'm going to teach somebody to do this tomorrow, what do they need to do? What steps do they need to take in order to be able to run the business in their local area without asking me every 5 minutes? That's why you have ops manuals. It's why you have the systems and processes. Your job will stop being running your own business, and it will be about training, supporting, motivating, and monitoring really great mini entrepreneurs all around the country. So it's about getting your leadership structure right too. So start with us, have a look at our website, and come talk to us. We'll help you.
Thanks, Pip. I mean, we're really lucky today because we've got really successful franchisees and really successful franchisors on the panel. How can franchising, Pip, be a successful model for anybody?
It doesn't matter if you have a business that you're looking to franchise. So if you've got something successful and you want to take it forward, there is a way that you can expand your business using passionate individuals around the country. If you're somebody that wants to get into business, but you don't have an idea, you don't have an existing business, that's where you get to choose from the 1,000 systems that operate in everything from fast food to gyms to domiciliary care to cleaning drains with rods if you want to. There is literally something across every spectrum of business that you can invest in, and someone will teach you how to do it. So franchising is something that if you're looking at thinking it's, I can't do this, we are a £19.1 billion sector, representing 1% of UK's GDP. There are 50,000 franchise outlets with more than 22,000 people across the UK already doing it. It's a really easy thing. You just need to think about, what do I love doing and what do I want to do every day? And the franchisor will help you do the rest.
Thanks, Pip. Hubs, I'm going to come back to you. Don't get scared because I know I haven't talked to you about this one. But if you had one piece of advice to someone considering franchising, what would it be?
I would say, from my point of view, do it. I think, look, my turning point came at 40, where I wanted to do something. At that point, I wasn't clear what I wanted to do. But, you know, it's ultimately about making a life decision in terms of where you want to go to. I think sometimes some people may think, oh, I want to set up a new business, and there's apprehensions around that and doing it from start. If you want something which is, you're going into a model where you are buying into a proven track record and a playbook, which has been mentioned before, it's a very good fit, and it could be the right fit for you as an alternative path for your future. So yeah, I'd say go do it. Don't delay, if you like.
Don't delay, just do it. It's like in the words of it's a well-known phrase, that, isn't it? Just do it. What about you, Naseem? What piece of advice would you give to someone?
So the advice I would give is do your due diligence, because as Pip said, there's loads and loads of franchise models out there. So if you feel that the model is right for you, the franchisors will give you lots of information. Take it away, digest it, stress test it as well. Do all those things that you would do for your own business. And if you still, at the end of that process, think, yeah, I can make a go of this, then I think you press the green button and off you go.
Thanks, Naseem. So that's brought me to the end of my predetermined questions that I'd planned. So I'm going to open it up to you guys in the audience now. Please don't be shy, because I've got 10 minutes to fill. So I need you to ask me some questions, please. Who wants to go first?
Thank you. Now, forgive me if I missed the start, because I was running around, so if this has been covered. But yeah, we're interested in part of our business, developing that into a franchise and developing the business with that in mind. Where would you suggest we go for real pointers and research? We've never franchised before. We've both run businesses and we build brands, but we've never stepped into that realm before. So as somebody who wants to go down that path, where would we go for how you set that up? Do you know what I mean?
I think I'm going to pass that one to you, Pip. You were ready, weren't you, with your mic up, ready to go?
www.thebfa.org. The BFA, so the British Franchise Association, we can signpost you to the right advice. So you're going to need a franchise consultant, lawyers, all of those wonderful things to help you on the journey. But I can spend a little bit of time with you before we go. And then, yeah, we'll signpost you to the right places.
Thank you. There's a lady here. Just wondering, is there any kind of business you feel that wouldn't work as a franchise?
Ooh. Do you want to answer that one?
You've got to have something that is a saleable asset at the end. So a franchisee isn't they're not buying a job, they're buying a business. So it's got to be something that they can build a value in to sell on at the end of their franchising term. So if it's a driving school, for example, at the end of it, you've taught the people to drive, they've gone, and all you've got is a car that's 5 years old with probably some dents in it. So it's probably not going to be worth more than it was when you bought the car. So those kind of things, you need to think about it. But it's if it's resaleable and it's something you can build value in, then yes, I believe that most things are franchisable, but with the right advice and the right foundations.
I was just going to say as well, it's also really important to have a business ready to be franchised, because there's a lot in terms of picking a business up that's successful in a certain location and dropping it into another location with somebody else running it. But if you have not got your stuff together and your processes, your systems, your profitability, your structure and your delivery route, then you're going to get in a real pickle if you try and do that too quickly. So having all of that done before you get to the point where, and that comes through pilot territories, etc. But really, the operational side of things is just so important to just do properly.
Thank you. Good question. There's a lady down here. Oh, she's coming. My runner's coming. I was going to get off and run and leg it to you then. There's the lady here and then.
Hi. So I run a reputable science tutoring company, and a lot of the success comes from the fact that the service is very good. My intention is to potentially franchise if it was fitting, but my worry is, how do I ensure that when it franchises, that the service is still as good as just having one business?
Okay, so the key document in franchising is a franchise agreement that protects your brand and business system as a franchisor. So you will teach people to do it within guidelines. So they'll have an operations manual, and in that manual, you can stipulate this is how you do this is how you protect the brand. But the key thing is the franchise agreement. So it will set out the rights and obligations, but the things that you need to protect and your know-how will be protected in that.
Might be one just to come to Sarah on that one as well, because Sarah, you obviously Canopy and FunFest are two very different brands, aren't they? How do you maintain that across?
I was going to say, actually, it's a really similar situation. I was in your shoes, looking at how I was going to scale the holiday club business initially. And I think it's about making sure that the accountability is documented as well. So like Pip was saying, having those processes in place and making sure it's really robust, but having the checking processes in place as well. The people that go out and check the services that are offered to make sure that they're delivering the quality that you would expect. So it's really hard to let go, isn't it? When you're in that situation, you think no one's going to be able to run my brand as well as I can. But actually people can, and sometimes better. So, and you can learn from franchisees as well. Franchisees are usually very talented people that have come from a wide variety of backgrounds. So, you'll find that your model will constantly evolve because you'll take on board the learnings from your franchisees as well.
Thanks, Sarah. I've probably got time for one, maybe two more questions. I saw the lady with the Mercedes cap on at the back there was the last one I saw.
Hello. Can I ask how most franchisors approach assets in terms of like brick and mortar? Because I own a co-working brand, and at the moment I buy my properties and then obviously rent them out to people. How do most franchises approach that? Does that become the liability of the franchisee, or?
Anybody want that question?
Sorry, it's a bit of a micro one.
So it depends. A lot of franchisors, when it comes to premises, the franchisee will take the head lease in the local area. But there are also some where the franchisor owns the property, and then they lease it to the franchisee, or there's a percentage or a fee structure for almost leasing it back from the franchisor if they own it. So if you own loads of property, it's how you set up the initial structure.
And then, sorry, I know this is getting into the nitty gritty, but then does the conversion and developing that site into what the franchisor would want it to be, does that become?
So the franchisee would, if you're doing it as a set, here it is, you're opening in this premises, then you would probably do it and then charge the franchisee a fee. But with property, normally the franchisee would take the head lease. The franchisor would have brand guidelines in place that says this is what it should look like. And then there will be things like refit costs and stuff that the franchisee would meet if you rebranded or something need to be changed in it. But again, that's stuff that's all detailed in the agreement when you get that far.
But presumably that is different for each business.
Absolutely. So a lot of the terms that are in a franchise agreement will be similar, but they are absolutely bespoke to the franchisor.
Great, thank you so much. Naseem, did you have something to add on that?
Yeah. I just think it might be useful for you to know, in real life, within the Anytime Fitness model, the franchisee takes the lease, the franchisee picks up the cost of fit out, and really everything is on our company, but the franchisor has the agreement, the master agreement for the brand. Yeah.
Thank you very much. One last question I've got time for. It's going to need to be a really quick one because otherwise that lady's going to come and charge me off the stage. Lady at the front here. Short answer, Pip, if it comes to you. Please. Please.
So I have a franchisable business, and the advice that I've been given is to do it as a license first, rather than go straight into a franchise. And so I'm interested in that, and in terms of like the investment for me as a founder to afford a franchise.
No. I can pick up with you, but don't try and turn a license into a franchise. If you're going to franchise right from the outset. And I can talk to you about the differences, so that's fine. I'll spend some time with you afterwards.
Thank you. I thought we were going straight in. No. Right, time's flown. I've got a minute now to wrap through my end up before this lady tells me off. So thank you to our panellists today, Katie, Sarah, Hobbs, Pip, Naseem, and to your audience here at Ideas Fest and On Demand. If you take one thing away from today, let it be this, that franchising is not a fallback, it's a framework for growth. It's about building something that's yours, but with the support to grow faster and smarter than you could do alone. I'm Jodie Marsh, and this has been a Link Franchise Live at Ideas Fest. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the festival, and hopefully the rain stays off.